I want today to explore the Shitas HaRamban. The opinion of the Ramban is not clear. It's a big machlokes between the Bes Yosef and the Shagas Aryeh. How do you learn the Ramban? Big machlokes. And I want to show that really, if you learn carefully what the Ramban says, what the Bes Yosef says is very possible, and what the Shagas says is possible. Both are open. That's my goal. Again, my goal today is to explain in concept the Shitas HaRamban. There's two ways to learn the Ramban, like the Bes Yosef or like the Shagas Aryeh. The Bes Yosef has a certain way he learns the Ramban, and the Shagas Aryeh attacks him and bombs him, 10 pieces on him, boom, boom, boom. But really, in concept, you can learn the way you read it inside. You have two ways out of it. And we found that this problem started in the Rishonim time. Really, the Rishonim, the Toisas Reed, he had a Madur Kama, he learned one way. He wrote his book when he was young, he wrote one way. When he became older, he retracted, he says another way. And then he has his own ways the other way. But really, how exactly to read this Ramban, there's good, the Goinim, there's two ways how to read it. I want to show that it's open. That's my goal today. It's not like one way, the way that Shagas Aryeh says, Shgogli, there's no way how to read it like that. He attacks it. No. You can read it like the Bes Yosef. Just before we continue on, I said a couple of times that I heard from Hans Zimmerman. Who's the Bes Yosef? He says, it's a tshuva nafkas roichel in the Kiddushin daf. Zayin, Mekadosh midin ored, midin elknayim, midin shneim, Odom Choshu. And there's about 7 shitas that he finds in Ored, and then he goes on to the Knayim, and he combines. It says altogether, we learned today 500 and something Pirushim, and we decided that 3 are the best of those 500, and out of those 3, we decided one is one halacha is the truth. It's the Rambam. And that's what we decided in Rosh Hashanah, the Rambam. Which means in one day, he went through 500 possibilities in a puzzle. So, to know that going to the Bes Yosef is not, I don't have it. It's the last one I have. Come on, how many you did? Okay, so to start, we're going to start with Tosfot. I know, and the Ramban. We're going to see what the Rambam says. It's all part of the Shagas Aryeh brings it down. We'll see what the Rambam holds. So now let's open our Gemara. We are ready to start the game with El Hashem. Siyata Dishma. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan. The rabbis taught us. Come in. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan, Nochri Nichnas, this is page 6a. In Pesachim, 6a. Tanu Rabbanan, the third part of the last third part of the page of Amudah. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbi taught us. Nochri Nichnas lechatzero shel Yisrael, ubetzeiko beyodoi, ein zochur levai. If a guy enters a Jewish home and he has a patzek, means a dough of chametz in his hand, he's now required to get rid of him because the owner of the chametz is a guy. The guy holds the chametz in his hands and he entered your chametz. So now I'm going to get rid of him. If the guy deposits the chametz by a Jew, the law is zoch levai, he needs to get rid of him. Yiched lo bayis, if he designated a home for the goy, zokek levai, he get rid of it. Those are the 3 laws. Just one second. Sorry. Again. So the Braisa is teaching us three laws. A goy is carrying the chometz in his hands, and he enters a Jewish home. You're not required to get rid of it. A goy deposits chometz by a Jew. The law is you have to get rid of it. But the Gemara previously said, when if a goy deposits chometz by a Jew, you need to get rid of it, it's only when he took responsibility. So you have to add that fact that he took responsibility. Do you need mefurosh, or stoma is like by a Jew, stoma without talking, you deposit something by you and you don't talk, you take achrayus, you took responsibility. By a goy, it's a shayla, machlokes rishonim. Rashi says that you don't have stoma, you have to take mefurosh. And the Ramban says, the Ramban says you have to take mefurosh with that stoma is not, Rashi says even stoma is. That's what we learned last week. The last part of the Sugia, the last case is that if a goy put a chometz by a Jewish guy, and the Jew designated a corner in his house for the chometz, so then the Rabbeinu Tam and the Ravid and the Ramban and a lot of Rishonim, they learn this Gemara that you have a chometz of a goy that a Jew took responsibility on. So we said if you have a chometz of a goy that a Jew took responsibility, you oive. But here, you're not oive. The Chiddush B'Raisa, you're not oive. Why not oive? Because since he designated an area for him, so then it's like a non-Jew chometz that I took responsibility, but it's in the house of a goy because I designated an area for the goy. Let's see Tosfot. Upiresh Rabbeinu Tam. And Rabbeinu Tam says, Toy says the one matchil yiched loy. Tosfot dibur matchil yiched loy. Upiresh Rabbeinu Tam. And Rabbeinu Tam explains that afilu ba'achrayus ma'iri, even if the Jew took responsibility on the chometz of a goy, and the goy deposit the chometz by a Jew, and the Jew took responsibility. Umishum ochim mapik mo lo yimotze. That's why we use the verse lo yimotze, not to be found. The lo yichoshev motzui is not considered found, even though he took responsibility. Kevan sheyichad lo bai. Since I designated a house for the goy for this chometz in my house, so then I'm potu. V'rapop is the Diaspora holds even without a posuk. I know that. Kevan sheyichad lo bai. Since I designate for the goy's chometz, I took responsibility. The Jew took responsibility on the non-Jew's chometz, but since he designated a house, what? I'm reading Tosfot. Yiched lo yibais. Toys bought Rabbeinu Tam. V'rapop is le Diaspora. Rapop holds in Diaspora. Kevan sheyiched lo bai. Since the Jew designated for the chometz of the goy in his house a corner, a house, avekiyu kibel olav achrayus, is as if the Jew took responsibility al chetza shanochi on the chometz of a goy, bebeis shanochi in the house of a goy. Okay? This is Rapop and the same, so I don't need an apostle for that. Ravashi said he need an apostle. But what's going on here? Let's go over here. We have a goy deposit chometz by a Jewish house, and the Jew took responsibility. Mefurosh, according to the Ramban, or the Rashi, not mefurosh b'stoma, he took responsibility.
Which category of law is deposited?
Achrayut, responsibility.
Which category of law?
What do you mean?
This category, some of the hinam, some of the
It's a shayla. It's a shayla. Is it a contractual agreement, or stoma is the shoyim, din shoyim of the Torah?
Or did he develop is it not the Torah?
Or did it malchut?
So it makes a big
Exactly.
change.
But that's not our subject here. Our subject here is different. Listen carefully. This is the opening for our Sugia to understand what's the problem, how do you read the Ramban. Listen carefully. When I open the door today, B'ezrat Hashem, big chidushim today. Listen carefully. Rav Papa says, I understand it from common sense. If a goy deposit chometz by a Jew, and the Jew took responsibility, even if he took responsibility, but he says, I'm designating for your chometz a corner of my house. Rav Papa says, from Svara, I'm exempt. Because if I didn't designate a corner for the chometz of the goy in my house. I just received the chometz with responsibility. Lo Yimotze says I'm oivet because it's found in my house. I took responsibility and I have control of it. So I'm oivet, it's in my house. But when I designate a house, a corner in my house, it's like not my house. Even though it's my house, it's not my house because I designate a corner of his chometz. So I have a non-Jewish chometz, a goy's chometz in my house. I designate an area for him. The Rabbi Tam says, according to Rabbi, is doimet. This is similar to what? And he says a case. Is similar to a chometz of a goy in the house of a goy that I took responsibility. Yes.
You mean you designated for the goy a part of the property for him to use?
The goy deposited chometz by me, and I designated a corner for him. It's like the goy had chometz in his house, and I took responsibility, and it stays in his house.
How do you take responsibility for a goy that moved into the goy's house? How does that actuality play out?
There's two cases. There's a case that goy has chometz, and I take responsibility on his chometz, and the chometz stays in the goy's house. I never took it out. I just gave him bituach. You know what's bituach? Insurance, responsibility, but it stays in his house. Rav Popper holds our case is the same. Our case, when the goy deposited the chometz by a Jewish home, and I designated a corner in my house for that chometz, even I took responsibility. It's nothing. It's a goy's chometz in the goy's home that I took responsibility. It's similar to that. So therefore, I'm not oiver.
Sounds like a pretty weak responsibility.
Very, very weak. So he's jumping from a weak responsibility that is the domain of a goy, that the chometz is really in the Jewish house. But since he designated an area for him, that area is like the goy's house. So it's chometz of a goy that a Jew took responsibility in the house of a goy. It happened to me that that house is my house, but I designated for the goy. So it's a goy's house.
What makes weak and strong?
I'm going to talk about it. That's the next 2 hours. That's what we want to talk about. That's a whole piece of it. What's strong was weak. That's a whole piece of it. Listen carefully.
Rabashi argues with this.
Wait before Rabashi. Rabashi says not mitzvah.
Rabashi says that you can't say something like this.
They can't say mitzvah.
How could it be? What's
Okay, good. Rabashi doesn't learn from mitzvah. But after Rabashi's posuk, there's many ways to learn from a posuk. The posuk tells me that it's a true svah. Or the posuk tells me a nugeder. Woo! Many ways what the posuk is telling me. I would say simply the posuk says it's a true svah. So now I'm China is I would say svah on my own, or I need a posuk to enforce that svah. But it's a svah. Now Pope and Rabashi holds the same svah in the end. That's my understanding. So let's now continue on. So now, listen carefully. Comes the Riaz. In this Paskin Aloch in the Ramon Shulchan Aruch. And he says, wait a second. What happens, we have a third case. Until now we brought 2 cases. A case that a goy has a chometz in his house. And I took responsibility in his chometz and it stays in the goy's home. Our Gemara's case is a goy's chometz that he deposited in a Jewish home, but he designated an area in his house and a goy and he took responsibility. Rav Pop and Ravashi holds is the same. Rav Pop on Misvara and Ravashi learned from Apostle. Good. It's the same. But wait a second. What happens if I have a non-Jewish chometz in my house and I give it to a third goy to hold it? Whoa. Again, I have a goyish chometz that he deposited by a Jewish home, and I give it to, before Pesach, I give it to a third goy.
In your house or not in your house?
Not my house, in the goyish, third goy's house. Is it the same or not? And the third goy took responsibility. Achrayus.
Why should you relinquish the responsibility?
So therefore what? The school stays by you, that's the pashtus. So then what? What do you want to say? So it's considered a Jewish home or not a Jewish home? Again, a non-Jewish chometz, he deposited by a Jew the chometz, and I took before Pesach and I gave it to a third goy to hold it for me. And I paid it for him. And he took responsibility for me. Is it the same case of Toises or not?
He gave it the same binding, the same volume.
No! The third goy. That's the point. And the third goy is guarding it for me for the sake of the first goy. So then the Riyah says that the Jew is obligated. Okay, this is a very key piece. Very key piece to understand this stuff. What? Again, the non-Jew deposited the chometz by a Jewish home and the Jew took responsibility. Before Pesach, the Jew runs and he gives it to a third goy to hold it for who? For me, for the Jew, that I'm holding it for the goy. So since the third goy is holding it for the Jew, it's like in the house of a Jew. So the Jew has in his house chometz that he took responsibility of a goy's chometz. The responsibility is higher. So that's retossed again. So what Tosfos says, what Rabbeinu Tam says, comes Rabbeinu Tam and he says, if we're going to hold this, the sheet of Rabbeinu Tam. Okay? So Rabbeinu Tam says, here, if the Jew took a chometz of a goy and took responsibilities, or even from lo yimotze, but if I designate a house, for who? Who I designate a house for?
For the guy.
For the balabait goy, for the owner of the chometz. Right? So it's like chometz of a goy in a house of a goy. Which goy? At the house of the balabait, that he took responsibility in it. Very good, right? But it will be a chometz of a goy in my domain that I took responsibility, and I put it by a third goy to hold it for me, and surely by a Jew that is holding it for me. Who's going to be chayav? The first Jew. So the third guy could be a goy, could be a Jew. It's all the same. He's holding it for me, for the first Jew. First Jew will be chayav. It doesn't matter if it's a goy or a Jew, it's all the same. He's holding it for me. So I'm really chayav. I took responsibilities. It's my domain. So holding for me could be a goy, could be a Jew. Yad nifkat kalabay is the only thing. Stoma, there is a chayav. Sana, okay? It's a shaila by a goy and a Jew. What kind of relationship they have? Do you need a clear contract or you have stoma? Okay, it's a scientist. But in concept, when another goy is holding it for me with contract, or Jew that whatever I deposit is like for me, and he's not the balabait, so even a goy chometz that he gave to a Jew, and the Jew gave it to another goy to another Jew, the first Jew is chayav. So wait a second, what happened here? It's a joke here. What's going on? Comes out that a non-Jewish chometz
In your own house.
when you took responsibility has to be your domain. Because when you give it to the third guy, you took responsibility. It's not your house, it's somebody else's house. But it's in your reshus because you control it. He's holding it for you. A goy or a Jew. As long as you make a contract, it's just holding for you. So it's not your house. It's a non-Jewish home. It's not your Jewish house. It's another Jew. It's not yours. It's not your home. It's not your bias. Still, we say it's all the same. It's the same as it's in it's considered as if the first Jew has a chometz of a goy in his house and took responsibilities like that. No, if he gave it to the third person to hold it for him, it's like not designating a house. But when this first Jew took the non-Jewish chometz, I took responsibility, he designated a house on the balabait, then it's not my house. What happened here? Why, if I designated it for the original balabait, so what do you mean? Because the original balabait is not holding it for me. He's holding it for himself. Like we learned in Rashi. Rashi learned, guys, listen carefully. What was the svara of Rashi? The svara of Rashi was, when I designate a house, I'm taking away my responsibility. I'm throwing back at you. Right? According to Tosfos, when I designate a house, I don't throw the responsibility. I took the responsibility. But I throw away who is he holding it for. The reshus is throwing away. It's in your reshus, in your home. What happened? Let's go over this jump here. It's very important to keep peace here. The holy human peace. Yes. Yes, Abi.
I have a question. What does it mean that you are responsible for a chometz that's in someone else's domain?
Depends. What does that mean? Depends. If you took responsibility and you gave it to a third person that is holding for you, a goy or a Jew is holding for you, so then we say, since he's holding for you, as you took responsibility, and the chometz and the object is still in your reshus, in your domain. Why is it your permission, your reshus? Your reshus, because he's holding it for you. So it's for you. But when I give the chometz, I took responsibility and I give it back to the Balabait's home. He says, okay, here's the chometz, take responsibility. Okay, I'm holding it, it's very heavy, and I took responsibility. You know what? Please, I'm still going to take the responsibility, but put it in your house back. And you put it back in the guy Balabait's house. Or I designate a house, a corner in my house for him. It's the same. And then what happened here? What changed if I put it back in the Balabait's home? Or I designate a home for the Balabait? My responsibility went away? No. Rashi says if I designate a house, it removes the person. Let's see Rashi. Kloima, Rashi says like this. Yichel Lobais Kloima, I designate a house, which means Lo Kibel Olav, I didn't take responsibility. El Omar Lo, he told them, I advised upon Echo.
You didn't say responsibility.
Lo Kibel Olav, you didn't receive on yourself.
That's different, I'm the same thing.
Okay, it's not only for compassion, it's receiving responsibility,
We should have written it.
not receiving.
Should have written it to the responsibility.
No, the case before that was.
The case before that says Achayus. Keep it of
It's a
Achayus.
different case.
No, wait a second. If I say like this, I deposit Kibel of Achayus, Kibel of Loy Kibel of. Loy Kibel of what? Because I said before Kibel of Achayus, Loy Kibel of.
Refuse that responsibility.
Okay? The Pashas Rashis are not taking Achayus.
I don't know, that's not.
Okay? That's the Pash, that's the way the Ramban learned it.
Then the Ramban.
And also places like that.
Okay, but this
So therefore, that's a simple because you have double vichuch.
Why?
So when you have double, because that's a simple. When I say double vichuch, double vichuch, you can say no. I got the two, and it's not double vichuch.
That's his responsibility, the Ramban, that's
Okay. I know places speaks Rashi and they learn double vichuch.
No, he said Achayis before.
I know that, but I'm explaining to him where the places written in Rashi. They didn't say the word achayus. So he's asking. He doesn't say in Rashi the word achayus. Where places
I think they're very exact.
They're very exact. So I am very exact. So since he wrote it before, it was very exact not to add a word. And he cut it short because the ink is very expensive. And he realized what he said before. Not very exact. And not to add words. It's a waste of words. A waste of ink.
Together.
So that's the before. It's written. Okay. I'm not saying there's no other possibility. That's a simple possibility. So therefore, let's go on. So Koite Rashi, when I designate a house, normally means, Koite Rashi, that I'm saying, you giving me comments. Take responsibility. Says, no, help yourself. This is your corner for yourself, means I'm throwing it back. You take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Help yourself. Take care of yourself. So I'm throwing it back on you. According to Tosfot, what happens? The responsibility still stays on me. What does that mean? If it gets lost or gets stolen, I take responsibility. But what if it right now? If it didn't get lost, if it didn't get stolen, under who dominion? That would be the word. Under what dominion this chometz is in? I want the Reshu's jurisdiction. Jurisdiction. Under what dominion, jurisdiction?
Jurisdiction.
Okay, get to the microphone. Under what domain? I think it's a very easy word for me, but it's actually a more exact word. Under what domain this chometz is? This chometz it is. Where? Who? Under which domain? So when the guy gives me the chometz, and I say, "Oi, Jackie, I love you very much, and I want to take responsibility, but next 2 days, the next 7 days, I have no space in my house. I'm allowed guests. Please hold it, and afterwards I'll take it back and continue to hold it for you. But now you hold it. I'm not retracting. I'm taking responsibility, Jackie. And I put it in your house. If it gets stolen, I'm responsible. And I put it back in the house of the goy. Does the goy is holding it for me because I'm with him? It's a puchim atat alamali. Why is he going to hold for me? He doesn't hold it back for him. He's right in there. He's holding for himself. That will be the svod. So therefore, you have a contradiction in the concept. When I take responsibility means I'm taking control. You can say no. Control means only if it gets lost and stolen. As long as it's not lost. I think that's the svod. Since it's only in the negative, if it gets stolen and lost, then I'm responsible. So the dominion is not a steer to the responsibility. So when I give the original owner the object, Yicheloi Mokoy, I'm designate a house for him, so I'm giving it back to the, according to the property, holds me so it's like what happened here. I put it back, the chometz, in the house of the goy. So what really happened? So how do I define responsibility? Guys, wake up. How do I define responsibility? I don't define, like the Gemara says, come on, since I'm causing, it's a cause of money, so it's kedidid, it's mine. Maybe it's still mine. That definition is, doesn't have another jump that is still in my yeshus. Here it's like mine, but the dominion is under the guy's dominion, because there's no point that he's holding it for me and I'm holding it back for him. He's going to hold it directly for himself because he's always the better guy because he's holding it. So the simple meaning is, when I put it back in his house, I took the dominion off my head and just took responsibility. If something happens, I'm responsible. It's like Diaspora Yeshiva has insurance. It means the insurance company has ownership a little bit older than Yeshiva. I paid them, they should have paid me, the owns of the Yeshiva. Doesn't work like that. They do sensibility that if something happens, they have to pay me. That's why I look at it. So here, when I give it back to the owners, it's as if I took just insurance on the goyish's chometz, but in his house. So how do I define insurance on chometz of a goy in the house of a goy? That if something happens, then I take responsibility. But if nothing happened, the dominionship is still his. I have goy no moment. It's a cause of money. There's some kind of ownership in it of kedideh, but it's kedideh with a very weak kedideh. That's why he said weak. Because the dominionship is under the goyish home. He's controlling it. So the same thing, yes.
Maybe not. Why? You know, it's a din and not the mitzvahs, and it's only a legal reality. It's not the.
Tysus didn't give it back.
What?
He never took it from his house. He didn't give it back. Tysus' case, he never took it.
The dinyon thing.
Yes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. But since we learn in the dinyon that he never took it away, mashma that if he took it away, it'd be by a third guy.
But when he gave it to the third guy, he said, I want you to be my
We have two cases. You have a goyish home and it stays in the goyish home and took responsibility. You have a goyish home that's in a Jewish home that the Jew took responsibility and gave it back to the goy by designated house, or physically gave it back. And you have a third case that the Jew took chometz and he gave it to a third goy. So since we see clearly in the Rishonim, the Chilukim, the Riyaz, that's the halacha, in Rabbeinu Tam, not other Rishonim, in Rabbeinu Tam. Therefore, I would learn that the concept of achrayus, the definition of responsibility, according to Rabbeinu Tam, the chometz of a goy, it's in the Jewish home that I took responsibility. It's a combination. Responsibility is not enough. It has to be responsibility in reshus. But if you have responsibility and not reshus, because I gave it back to the goy, to the balabait, so he took over the reshus.
Well, they didn't take on the reshus. It's the same. It's your reshus in his place. That's it.
So what happens now? The goy is holding it for me, and I'm holding it back for him.
What
That's
did
what's
you tell the
happening.
guy? What did you tell the guy?
So what happens if you have a goy that has a chometz in his house, and I take responsibility on his chometz? So then what happens is, like my house, I put it back in his
That's
house.
different because you didn't.
That's what
take it
happened?
first. That's
It's
different
weird.
because you didn't take it first.
Doesn't happen like that.
No, because you didn't take it first.
Doesn't matter. Takes. I'm saying, what's the matter if I took it, put it back? I put it back.
Because it's
Putting it back, it's like the same way if the chometz stayed by him, and I took responsibility. You don't say responsibility means it's in my domain and put it back and he's holding it for me, because if I'm holding responsibility, he's holding it for me to take responsibility, and I'm holding it for him.
It's not telling me it's for.
It's not like that. Simple is, there's a chiluk. That when I take responsibility, it's in my domain, so you have the responsibility plus domain. But when I have responsibility and it's in his domain, it's in his domain. He took over the domain because he's the balabait. But if it would be a third goy, the Jew took a chometz of a goy, and he gave it to a third goy, and the goy is holding it for me. So then I say, yes, I took responsibility. He's holding it for me. He says, in my shoes. So therefore I'm chayav. That's the riyaz.
So who defined that relationship like that? That's not necessarily true. That you
Good.
did
But the Rishonim says, and that's the halacha. The Ramon and the riyaz.
What would be in the case where the yid gives back to the balabais,
Yes.
and he says, I want you to be my shomer. You wanted me to be mafia, now I'm going to be
If
mafia.
let's say he made a t'nai mefurosh
Yes.
that you don't take dominionship as I'm taking dominionship, and let's say the goy designated a house for my chometz. Let's say a case like that. Wait, I'm going to tell you. This is not what I say. If a goy gave me chometz, and I give it back to the goy, I took responsibility and I gave it back to the goy, and the goy throws it back something. He said, yes. The Jackie tells the Jew Israel, says, Israel, you know, I know that 7 days you cannot put in your house, but help yourself in my house. I'm designating a corner for you. So Vadai, the Jew, be higher.
But if he's mafkid,
That's all it is. That's the point. So the only reason in Toises that say the Yichud Bayis or Chometz of a Goy, the Bayis of Goy, it's only Bayis of Goy, but Balabai, that he takes over the Rishus. But if he's holding it for me, he made it clear tonight.
what happens if he
So
doesn't?
therefore it'll be the same. As soon as my Achayis and my Rishus.
If he doesn't,
If this is all true, we're now going to reopen our eyes and we're going to read Ramban. Let's open now the Ramban.
if he doesn't make it tonight, he just said I want to be mafkid back in
If he didn't say it tonight before, so that's what I just said before. If he didn't say it tonight before, the stomach, the boy takes over the responsibility. That's it. And now let's reopen the Ramban. You guys have the Ramban inside. They printed in the pages.
What's the reason?
Wait a second. Well, I'm going to give the reason. What's the reason? I said because Apuchem Matar Telamani.
Is the Yid still
I said the Svore. I'm getting over the Svore. Because otherwise it would be very weak. The Goy is holding his own chometz, he's holding it for the Jew, then the Jew is holding it for him. So I have to go as a chain, he's the best he's the best guy, he's holding it for himself, unless he made a condition, a real knai. But the unspoken knai, the stomach, the unspoken understanding is that when he puts it back in the house of the Goy, or he designated a place in his house for the Goy, means he's help yourself. The way you define the Rashi means I'm throwing the responsibility back on you. Means I'm giving the dominion on you back. That's a simple way of meaning. That's a comment. But if you made it clear tonight, no, that's all.
Who defines stam?
What?
If something happens to the Yid Chayev, okay?
And what case?
In the case where it was mafkid back to the Bailing,
With a tnai or stomach?
it was mafkid. He said the
Stomach or tnai?
stomach.
Stomach, so the Yid is Achayus. It's not over, but everybody wants it. Okay, guys, let's continue on in the Ramban.
Why does the Torah define stam?
Something happens to
Yes, it took Achayus. But the chometz, the oil of chometz, he took Achayus, not oil.
So how can it go out? But mafkid.
Sorry, I made a mistake. Let's read the Toisasi.
Why by moment is it Chayev and you still call it Chayev? The moment is, and it's still the Shushainer. You have everything here, so why not Chayev the Baed?
Again, repeat. Repeat what your question.
He has everything, but the
Who is he? The Jew?
Yeah, but the Goy put him, the Goy gives the shoes. He had two Chayus,
Yes. It also has the Reshus of the Jew.
and he also took shoes of the Jew that if something happens to him, he will be Chayev, and also he's a Shushainer.
It's Reshus. But if he gives it back to the Goy, and the Goy is a Balabai, so he's responsible, but without Reshus.
But those, no, he's still a
Yes.
Shushainer.
No, not true.
So what?
Not true. This is exactly what I'm talking. Not true. Now let's open. If you think I'm making up stories, let's see what the Toisasi was bothered in the original thought and when he changes.
The Mogen Avram says,
I don't know what I'm not even showing you.
you're both on the Shoiner.
I don't know the Mogen
He
Avram.
says Shoiner's from the
I know, but I was not looking at us.
Why doesn't the Torah have to define stam? Why do you have to be it's undefined?
What do you mean?
Where's the definition of the getter of stam? It's not written any place and it has to be swords?
Is it written? In what we come at page
So what's an
40.
argument? If it's written, you know what it is. But what's an
The
argument?
question that applies to here. That stomach
Well,
applies to
so I
here.
know what it is. It's not defined.
Yes.
It's here.
Yes, here's one. Let's see now the Toisasi. I printed in the last page the Toisasi, the one in the last page, this one before the last page. You don't have numbers here, Shleiman, but Umashi Dikdakti. Again, Toisasi, it's the last page in the back is the Rosh. The back page of the Rosh is Toisasi. The Toisasi, the last paragraph starts Masha Dikdakti. You have it there? Masha Dikdakti. You don't have? It's Shleiman, you didn't print enough for the people. Arbaim. So where are they? What's it? Here. I don't have it. Here's other one. Here's another one. Yes, Adi.
If the person, if has responsibility on the chametz. It's not his domain. He has to give the chametz back. He touched it.
Again, repeat. Repeat what she said.
The Jew has responsibility on the chametz.
Of a goy, yeah.
Even though it's in a domain that's not his, it's designated a domain.
Yes.
So he still has responsibility. Can he touch the chametz?
Yes.
That's not like
And when he designated a place for the balabai, no, he's not allowed to touch.
he has to give it back.
He cannot move it around. It's a goyish area.
He's going to give it back. Right? Take it back.
Yes, he cannot stop.
How does the boy get it? Does he get it through the Jew or does he have to?
No, the designated area, he can go in there.
That's not a key.
No, he has permission to go through the house, and he goes to his area, and he can get his area through the key or through the door window, or whatever it is. So he takes it. Okay, whatever the case is. Okay, guys. Here, listen what happened. Bedavka decided to jump to the Toysas Reed. I thought we were going to start having the Ramban. But guys, very important. Listen. What happened here in the Toysas Reed read the Mechilta in two ways. When he was young, he read it one way, Madure Kam in one way. When he got older, he learned it another way, which is a third way. We're going to see. It's not one of the two ways we mentioned now. But when he has his third way, he brings rayas to it. So from the rayas, you see that he was bothered. Maybe it's the second way. And because his rayas, he went the third way. So let's see his two ways. Really, his two ways. There's really three. Let's see what he says. It will be very clear to you guys. You know clearly what's happening here. What I was medakdek in the first printing of my book, this is what it says. שהמפקיד חמצו בביסו של גוי, שאינו אויבר ובא לגוי בא למוצא. Comes, the Toysas says, my original thinking was that when I deposit chometz by a non-Jewish house, so then what happens? I'm not over, I'm potu. The Torah says, "Lo yiroi v'limotze v'vaseichem" in your house. But if it's not in your house, I put it in a non-Jewish house, I'm potu. Wait a second. But the goy is holding it for me. The goy took responsibility, or he take responsibility? The goy designated a house for me. There's a few possibilities in the Jewish and Goyish home. You have three possibilities. The goy didn't take any responsibility. Number one. Number two, the goy took responsibility. Number three, the goy designated a house, an area in his house for me. In all cases, the Toysas Reed understood in his youth, is Madu Kama, that the Torah partners you. Okay? Again, a Jew took his chometz, put by a non-Jewish home. In all cases, he's potu. What all cases? Doesn't matter if the goy took responsibility, he take responsibility. Even if the goy designated an area in his house for me, so it's like my domain, is a Jewish chometz, and reshus of a Jew, that the goy took responsibility. I'm potu. So we have an opposition to Rabbi Mutam by a goy. By a goy, if a goy gave a Jew chometz, he depended. No responsibility, bye-bye. He took responsibility, no responsibility, it's nothing, it's not over. If the Jew took responsibility, it's over. If he designated a house for the goy, it's not over because it's like back in the goy's domain, with my responsibility. If I gave it to a third goy, it's like my reshus, I'm over. But what happened, this is the chometz of a goy. I played around all those cases in the case of chometz of a goy. Now let's take chometz of a Jew, and let's play around like a juggling in all the cases. If I have now a chometz of a Jew that I deposited by a goy, in all cases, I'm not over. What does all cases mean? Let's spell it out. The goy didn't take responsibility, so I can come in and just take it back. So it's my reshus. He's holding it for me. The goy took responsibility, it's a little bit his. but I can come and take it. The guy designated an area in his house for me. So he's holding it for me, and it's my house. And all cases are potu.
Give out.
Give out. This was the Madure Kama of who? Of the Ramban.
This is the one.
Right.
This
I
was-
thought people would jump on me,
This is what
mixing
it-
up. Let's open out the Ramban. Believe it or not, the word, the Ramban says kamedumani, when we thought, means also the Ramban had a Madure Kama. Let's see the Ramban. Let's jump on the Ramban. That was the original thoughts of the Ramban. Let's see it inside.
We just read, is that written?
Yes, we're going to go back to it, but I just want to show you that the Ramban also had such a thought. It's in the second page. It brings like this. It's in the second page. Here, you have one page, second page, and the second paragraph, 2, 4, 5 lines of the beginning of the second paragraph. Kach Piresh Rabbeinu Tam v'chikos havarayim. He brings the Rabbeinu Tam that I have a non-Jewish chometz and a Jewish home, and I designated, and the Jew took responsibility, and the Jew designated an area for the goy chometz. Rabbeinu Tam says on Potu, it's like the house of a goy, chometz of a goy, in the shus of a goy that the Jew took responsibility. That is Potu. Okay? And then the Rambam tells us a story, tells us history. V'chamedumi mohinu. You know the word chamedumi mohinu? Where's the word chamedumi mohinu? Who knows what those words mean? We're in Biyun. We were in an illusion.
We were under the impression.
We were under the impression שלא ינאמרו דבורים אלו אלו בחמצה של גוי. Lai, 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 lai. Listen what it says. Unbelievable.
It's not true.
That's not true, but first of all, what he thought. Let's see what he thought. Comes the Ramban, he says, you know what's my Havamina? We thought we had under the impression, this whole playing around with us, Goy Shakomitz, in my domain, that I'm due responsibility. I'm over, but if I did in the house with him, I'm not over, I put it back in his house. I'm not over, I put a third guy. I'm over. That's only chametz of a goy. But if it's chametz of a Jew, that I put in a non-Jewish home, all cases are out. I'm boot. You put it out. Boot. You bounce it out. It's no problem. That's chamedumim oinu. What's what chamedumim? We under the impression. What changed that impression? Unbelievable. The mechilta that he found, that who found? The Tosfos. The mechilta that the Ramban found. The raya of the Geonim that they found, they bought a raya from the Geonim bought a raya from the mechilta, all changed their perception because of that. Now let's see what was the conclusion. So you have the conclusion of the Ramban. You have the conclusion of Tosfos. And the Tosfos, the way he learned it, he bought a raya, why he didn't conclude the Ramban. What I'm bringing all this is to prepare for us the opening to see like the Beis Yosef. The way the Beis Yosef learned the Ramban, he learned clearly the way he learned clearly, and not like the Shagasaya. Okay, this is what we want to do today. It's to show that really the Ramban is open. You can definitely read the Ramban like the Beis Yosef. That's my goal. Okay, so let's read it inside. Now we're going to jump back to the Tosfos. To the last one page before the end, the Tosfos. Let's go back to the Tosfos. Let's go back. The piece Masha Digdakti, Maturikam, in my first printing. So now the Tosfos thought the same thing, the same illusion, the same thought, like the Ramban, for the beginning, that all this playing around, responsibility and reshus of a Goy Shakomitz, and a Jew took responsibility. Depends. I took responsibility, okay, but depends. If it's in my reshus, I'm chayav. If I get meyached ba'is, is reshus of the balabay, of the goy, or definitely if I give it back to the house of a goy. so then I'm out. But if I give it to a third goy, so Sul my Reshus, so it means you need responsibility and you need Reshus. All that splits, it's only by chometz of a goy. By the chometz of a Jew, if a Jew owns a chometz and he puts it by a goy house, we don't make those splits. That depends if the guy took responsibility, but it's through my Reshus. But what happened if he took responsibility and it's the goy Reshus, or the goy took responsibility but it's a Jewish Reshus because he doesn't know how? All those chilukim we didn't find. That's kemetume. That's what he thought in his madurikama. מה שדקדקתי מכאן למדוריקמה שאמרתי לכם זו בשל גוי שאינו בא לי מוצא דעולם בגבולוי קוי ולוי בבייס קוי, because not in your boundaries, not in your house, וקרוא לו עושה ולוי תכם ובכל גבולך, the Torah prohibit chometz, it's in your ownership and in your responsibility, that has to be in your gvul, in your house. If you have your chometz and not in your house, not in your domain, it's a clear head to the Torah not to make all those splits. Wait a second, but the goy is holding it for me. The goy took responsibility. The goy designated a house for me. We don't make all those chilukim. Torah says, your house, your gvul. Your gvul means your boundaries, borders. Not borders, not house, boot, is out. That's what he thought in the beginning. Also the Ramban had such a thought. וחמדונים היינו. Let's see what the Eido Nireli comes the Tosafos and he asks a kasha. Whose kasha this? The Shagasaga's kasha. He's attacking this possibility. And he says, not possible. So because of this kasha, the Tosafos learns a Mechilta one way. Okay? Okay? And we're going to learn the Ramban, Be'ezrat Hashem, another way. We'll see in a second. I think it's proven clean in the words, like the Besois. Okay? Let's see. It's only in Pilpul. Yes.
Just a clarification.
Yes, Rabbi.
It comes out in the first thinking, whenever the Jew has his own house, puts it by the boy.
He's out.
Any situation.
Any situation is out.
It's not over anything.
It's not over anything.
Nothing.
Nothing. Why? Because the Pasuk. Why? What does the sea taught us? A Pasuk. The Torah didn't ask him. The Krol Osa. They didn't prohibit. So, what can I do? That's what the Torah says. Only by a go you make all those splits and chilukim and understanding. By a go, a Jew's chometz, it comes out very strange. You know what? Very strange. Not your chometz. We make this way that we take responsibility. But your chometz is totally. I mean, it should be more strict. Your chometz. It's against the same.
No, because the din by a goy is different than me too.
Okay, you can say dinim. But I'm saying without Gzeras HaKosov and dinim, the common sense of what the Torah cares about Jewish chometz should be worse, right? It's his chometz, so okay, it's your chometz, and I put it by non-Jew, but the Jew's holding it for me. So it's my chometz and my Reshus, because he's holding it for me. If with no responsibility, and even if he took responsibility, I can still come and take it. And even if he designated a place for me, should be also. But in all those cases, it says I'm potu. Very strange. But the Torah says it as a kasha.
Basic construct for the Jews at the goyim, so why should it be?
The place is not Jew. So which means, according to this Havamina, the concept of Jewish chometz is in your house. Chometz of a Jew in a Jewish home, chometz of a non-Jew in a Jewish home, then we start playing around. Took responsibility, he designated a house for him. That's when those chilukim comes. Because it's in your house. But when it's not in your house, it's not your house, to finish. Even as a Jewish chometz, it's not your house. Psh. That's the definition. Okay? That was the Havamina, and the Havamina of the Ramban, and the Havamina of the Tosafos. Comes the Tosafos, he knocks out this law. Ve'eloi or ve'eloi nidem. It seems to me. It's not seems to me to be so. She'im ken, comes the Tosafos, and he has a kasha. She'im ken is so. Yatmin odom chemtzoi b'shus harabim, or b'shus hagoyim poter. Velohi de koleche de koi birshuse koi. Ben nitmino b'shumo koi, ben nifkir b'sagoi. Amen. What does he say? Comes the Tosafot, says it's impossible to say so, because now we have a new way to solve the problem of chametz. Pesach comes, I found chametz. I don't need to get rid of the chametz. Until now, when you look all over the Masechet, this is the language of the Shagasali. You look all over the Masechet, there's a concept called Biyun chametz. Remember the word Biyun chametz? What is the word Biyun chametz? Destroy. A lot of people think Biyun means burning. Biyun means destroy. Get rid of the world. So how do you destroy it? By burning it, by selling it, by selling, nullifying it, burning it in the wind. Comes the Tosafot says, wait a second. According to Rabbi, we don't have to come under that. Because the Torah only osir in your domain. You still can own it. But it's not your domain. Your booty, you're out. Take your chametz and put it outside your house. Stay with a gun. If somebody comes to touch it, you can shoot it. Stand next to it, but you don't have to get rid of it. Or you go to your neighbor going, can you hold this for me, please? And I'll pay you for it. Can you hold it for me for 7 days? Why have to have Biyun? In a very simple way, a new way. It's a revolution.
It could be a hector.
Doesn't matter. No, it's not a hector, it's a apostle. You learn it also called it. So that's the way to do it. And more than that, if you learn lo yimotzeh, we said lo yimotzeh means search with a candle and do what? Not found in your house. It means get out of your house. It's part of what Esther will explain this concept. This is what I said in another shiur clothing, another yeshiva. It's not a negative. It's actually lo yimotzeh. It's a positive. We'll see that we're jumping on. But in concept, let's go over. Comes the Tosafot says, if this is true, we have a big solution. You can erase half of Pesachim. We all learn, we go searching for ways and b'dika and biyun and burning and all those things. You don't have to have people. Take it in your house. Knock on your neighbor's door. You can pay him. What's the problem? What? It's out of your house. The Gzeras are called the Torah only also chametz in a Jewish home. Jewish gvul. Not Jewish gvul. Yes, 21 is in the national.
didn't know this question.
Who?
Shh.
Do a comment on this question? So I already gave half the answer. The answer I said, they learned the lo yimotzeh as a positive action. That's what I just said. Now I gave an answer. They learned that when I take it out of the house, this is the biyun. Same way if I burn, I do mitzvah hashbasa, it's a positive mitzvah. They learn lo yimotzeh, how do you find? Through chipus. Chipus with a candle. So it's an action. To get rid of it where? Not to burn it. You can burn it or take it out of your house. So it's an action of doing it. It's not just a lav. It's a lav with a esed. It's a kuva asela. The lav told you true find means don't find, should not be found, means search for it and get rid of it. We learned what's the makoy of b'dika. Lo yimotzeh. Remember we learned in the Ran. The Torah says should not be found. How? The Torah says there's zera shov and motzah and motzah chipus and chipus with the bener, the candle. Search with a candle. So it's an active action. It's not just a lav. It's like a positive ashbasa, nullify the chametz, cancel the chametz. It's an active. So lo yimotzeh should not be found. It's a result. Should not be found. How do you know? By searching for it. So it's as if it's saying an action. So therefore there's no kasha. Who asked me the kasha before? Menashe. Cousin Menashe says, what do you mean? What you ask?
Taking it out into the Rishus Rabbah, they knew that
they with the Makud coming in, all that. The Makud went down to do that, but he said it's an active mitzvah. It's part of the mitzvah of lo yimotzeh. That's the Makud understood. That's the original that Ramban understood. It's an active. So therefore, it's the same way nullifying bitul. Nobody asked, what do you mean? That bitul is nullifying because you're doing mitzvah hashmaza. So you're doing an active. Getting rid of it. It's also another way of getting rid of it. Putting it out of your house. It's a positive action of lo yimotzeh. That's what they know. But it said it's very hard. They knew that, and they knew that the whole reason why it worked because of the pasuk. It's an active mitzvah of aseh of a lav. You mekayim the lav. It's a kiyum of the lav. Kiyum eseh of the lav. It's eseh, lav eseh. But still, they said We didn't find no way that the Gemara says it. It's a very easy way. Why always the Gemara talked in the hard way? We have a very easy way. Okay. Let's see now the solution of the Tosfos and how we're going to reread the Ramban the way the Besoisim work. Therefore, those kashas follow. Yes.
How did the Tosfos know that
Yes.
Kol Heim the Koy was Shusay Koy? How did he know that? Where did he get this svara? It's a svara. It's a what is this?
You ever heard the concept of Yad Shoynik, Yad Balabait? It's a Gemara in Bamitzia. It's a Gemara of Bekam. It's a Gemara in Giti. It's all over the shots, right? You know that?
What about Hefker?
Did you know this concept?
Yes.
So what are you asking?
I'm asking why Chometz anywhere where it is?
What are you asking? You ask this word. In Shusay, we know Kol HaShas, and the whole Shas, the Yad Shoynik, Yad Balabait, the hand of a Shoynik is like Balabait, because I'm holding it for him. We learned the whole Sugia for 2 months. Me and you and yourself in Yeshiva, of Makbir Mitzil Chaveroi, I'm Nas Legoizlo, the Ramban, I'm holding it. We learned everywhere. Mitzia, 10, 20 places. I'm asking in Mitzias that Yad Shoynik, the hands of, if you guard something for me, you're holding it for me, it's on my shoes.
But the Tosfos agrees that even if I would take it out of my house and put it not in someone's shoy, not that someone should be shoying in it.
The shoes are not.
Right. So still, he would say.
That's a Chiddush of Tosfos. I agree.
My question is, when
Then,
did the Tosfos
amazingly, the Shagasaya didn't see the Tosfos. He was printed much later. And the Shagasaya himself says the same thing, Misvara. He says, Misvara the same way, as long as the Torah says, Gvul, take it out of your house, out of your Gvul, should not be found in your house of Gvul, doesn't mean you need a goy to be out of you. Even public domain is out of your house, not your house. So therefore, you don't need a house of a goy to take that. So therefore, the kasha of Tosfos is, if I don't need that,
Why is it kasha? I'm asking a kasha. My kasha is, where did the Tosfos get this statement from? Called Heichel, Ike,
on which case that somebody, that's a good kasha. Okay, that's a kasha. That's a shayla. I didn't understand your question. What your question was not in somebody else, and if goy is holding it for me.
this statement called Heichel,
Okay. You understood mitzvah. It's a good point. You can argue on this. But you see, the Shagasari and the Tosfos both held that when the Chometz is not my domain and nobody else took over it, it's who gets in my issues. If I own a Chometz,
either way, even if someone takes
and I can tell you mitzvah. Wait a second. I tell you we found Gemaras. Why can I do Meshicha and Tzidon Shusarabim? Why can I do Meshicha Besinta? You know why? Tosfos says a couple of places that the Chacham will makne the Tzidon Shusarabim or Sinta, that when I do Meshicha, when I put my object there, it's my domain. Therefore I'm putting it to my domain. And somebody else, right? There's a Tosfos that says like that. He's showing you Tosfos. It's the same thing, that idea. They understood that the Shusarabim is made for the public, and if I put my object first in that area is mine. Somebody wants to move it and say, hey, I'm sitting here first. Don't move me. Right? When I sit in the chair in public domain.
the marketplace.
Marketplace. Say, hey, don't push me. In the middle of the Shusarabim, nobody's allowed to put something. Everybody needs to move. So I have to be probably in Tzidon Shusarabim. I'm allowed to put it there. So I'm not a goyzer. So in Tzidon Shusarabim, when I put it there, it becomes mine. The land under it is now used for me. So I put it first. So it's my Rishus. That's a simple understanding. So let's continue on. Comes the Tosfos, and he says like this. This is the Siyata Dishma. Let's read again Velohi. Velohi is not true. Anywhere where it's standing is in the domain of the Balabai, the Jew. Beni Mitmino doesn't matter if you hid it in the Goyish home, the Shumok in any place. Beni Ifkid Beis Goy, or you deposit the house of a Goy, or you hid it in public domain, Carmelis.
The Rosh Hashanah is holding it there. The Rosh Hashanah is holding it for the.
Tzidon Shurabim has to be. Tzidon Shurabim or Carmelis or stam fields of going hefker areas. Velo Sharina we need permit. Says when we permit that if I took responsibility of a chometz of a goy and I designate the area for the chometz of a potu, that's only by chometz of a goy. The avol gave the kibbutz achrayus over. Even I took responsibility. Whatever is standing belongs to the goy. And he defines. So if the goy wants to take his chometz, and he saw Yochel, the Jew cannot stop him from taking it. And from the law, it makes sense, from common sense, that the Jew should not transgress. It's called yours, not others. אלא משום דכסיב לא ימוצץ, the verse should not be found. The masha afilu shel goy yasin alei, the Torah prohibits even a goy if it's in your domain. It's only if it's my house, but it's found in my house. Designated, the Jew designate for the goy in his house a place. It's not common in all his house, and the Torah prohibits. This is a punchline. But chometz of a Jew, anywhere it is, it's in a domain of the Jew.
No, it's his and in the domain.
It's his and in his domain. Again. We have no power to permit. Everything is in the domain of the Jew. You can sanctify it in any place to stand. Which is not really his shoes. But it is his shoes because you come and take it. So let's just now say what he said. So let's see how the conclusion of the Toysasi. Because of the kasha against the Madu Kama, against Chamedu Me'ainu of the Ramban. How's it possible? Cannot be. So therefore he says, what can I be? Can I be that if I take it out of my house, I put George in a non-Jewish home, a Jew puts his chometz. Let's get up. Come on. What happened? The Madura Kama and the original thought of the Rabban was that if a Jew owns a chometz and he puts it in a non-Jewish home, in all cases he's impotent. That's not happening. So it's not cannot be. Because if that's true, we have a very easy way to get rid of the issue of chometz. Instead of burning or selling, still own it and deposit by a goy or hid it in a field outside of your house. That cannot be. Must be that since it's still in your domain, when you put it in the public, you put it in the field, you hid it in the field in the public domain, so then that field turns, that area turns to yours. If you deposit by a goy, the goy is holding it for you. What do you mean holding it? Depends. He's holding it for you because he agreed to put it there. So achayis and achayis is another shayla. Between Jew and a goy, unless you clearly made a contractual agreement, you take responsibility. Without no contractual agreement, no responsibility. Stomach, no responsibility. But responsibility has nothing to do with the fact that he's holding it for me. So it's always in my domain. The only way when it will be not in our domain, when I put it against the will of the goy in his house, the Jew put his chometz in a non-Jewish house against his will, and he doesn't agree for you to come to take it. For example, the goy rented your house. Says, if you come in here and want to take your chometz, I'm going to kill you. He doesn't agree. He's not holding it for you. And he's going to burn it, get rid of it. So then he can't say it's his kashus. Because the way he defined it is sheyochel avlekam, he can come and take it. So again, that's very key piece even in the Toysasi. So the Toysasi basically says like this. Wrong! Not true. When a Jew put chometz in a non-Jewish home, the Jew is responsible. Why? Because the goy is holding it for me. But wait a second. Well, what about if the goy took responsibility or he didn't take responsibility? If he designated a house, all those chilukim? We don't make those chilukim. We say what? It's not in your house, you're exempt. But it is in your house. So it depends. He says like this.
It's a din in your house.
It's a din in your house. Because since when I deposit by a goy, not against his will, with his will, so it doesn't matter if the goy took responsibility, he take responsibility, if he designated a place in the house for me, so definitely is my issues. But even without designating, and even if the goy took responsibility, so it makes a little bit of the goy, still with all that, since he permitted me to put it in his house, means he's holding it for me, he's lending that area for me as a minor shoes. I can sanctify it, I can magdish it, mashilo mokoi. So therefore, in all those cases, I'm over, because it's still in the house of a Jew. This is the conclusion of The Toysasli. Now, let's open our classes, Torah classes, and let's read the Ramban. Now we're ready for the Ramban. Let's see the Ramban if the way that Bes Yosef read it is the way we're reading it, or the way the Shagas Abi. Yes. 1 second, he was asking when I started. Yes, Rabbi Shalom, Rabbi Shalom. What? Yes. Correct, the Mechilta, right. Yes, nobody argues with that. Yes. Now let's read the Ramban. Yes, Rabbi.
Public domain, how can a person take on public domain?
How can what?
If you say it in the public domain still belongs to the Jew, how can a Jew have a control of the public domain?
Very good. So that's what Rabbi Bochum was asking. I answered him that why are you allowed to make acquisition the public domain? Why are you allowed to do Meshicha, Akbar is in the Chomok, but Meshicha, you can do it Sinto and Zilshu Sarabi. Why? So Toysa says that when God, or the city hall, when they build a way, they have walkways. What does the walkway means? And when I'm walking there, I'm standing on it, the city gives me that place that is mine when I'm standing there. Usage.
Okay.
Usage.
But that's usage.
So now when I'm putting my chametz in public domain in areas where I have to put it stale, okay? So then, or carmelites, whatever I put it, so then it's in my domain. I don't own it. Or in the Goisha home. It's all
Domain use is not the same thing.
right.
So,
But if I'm allowed to use it, it means I'm permitted to use it, it becomes my domain. Although I'm able to do Mashiach.
what? That's not necessarily true. That's not true.
This is Reshus.
You have Reshus to use it, not that you have Reshus, you own it.
Not only Reshus permissible, Reshus means dominionship. You have dominion. Reshus means it's in your Reshus, it's your
How do you know
control.
it's domain?
Because when I'm allowed to use that area legally, the more I'm there, so I have control of that area.
No,
For
you
me,
control some usage. That's
can somebody boot me out and stand in my place?
Yes, because he
Not
has
true.
the same.
Not true.
Why?
Not true.
He has the same.
No, not true. If I'm now standing in Tzidel Shus Arabi and I'm putting there my figs to sell, can somebody throw my figs and put his figs there?
No.
Why not?
Because you were there first.
So what is it first? But it's mine and yours.
So then it's
Salachim is a concept. You cannot throw me.
Is it Gemara?
Yes, it's a Gemara. It's a Gemara. That's what Basis explains. Yes.
Can we say that the place where it's standing is the domain of my place? Not
Yes.
around.
Not around. Just that use.
Where
Yes.
that place
That's called Reshus. Yes. Yes, Rabbi.
It seems like from the place of sleep,
Yes.
and he says the reason why it's called the Shusay.
I know. He says why. He says because he can come and take it. He can come and take it. That's the raya that is considered Roshus. But what's a svara? Because Yochel Ekachta, that shows Roshus. Okay, that's a sin. Okay, let's go now to the Ramban. Let's see now the Ramban. Now we're ready for the Ramban. Guys, please hold on with me. A few more minutes. You're going to see big chidushim. There's Hashem.
Amen.
Now, the Ramban says, "V'chamedu mimayinu." You have it there?
Yeah.
Okay. V'chamedu mimayinu. Everybody has the Ramban? Everybody has the Ramban inside, please.
The second page.
I have the old Ramban. I don't know where it's at. Shleiman. Where's the new Ramban? V'chamedu mimayinu. Where I left off, but where is it?
The second page is been printed.
Ah, okay. It's here. Rabbi. Shmuel. No, I have another one. Huh? Okay, now let's read inside. V'chamedu mimahinu. We thought shelo nemu dvorim eilu el v'chom shesem goy. All those chilukim is only said by chometz of goy, according to Rabbi Yuta. Ad shelo tzosi b'mechilta, until I found the mechilta. Bevoseichen lamanema, why says the word homes? It says boundaries, why your home? Talmud tell you a house. Means house, doesn't mean house. House means reshus. You hear? Again. The Mechilta, because the kasha is a pen. What's going on? You make me crazy. Torah says you cannot see a found chometz in your home. And then it says in your boundaries. Besides, boundaries are home. Boundaries includes home, but home is not boundaries. No. We want to define, what does home mean? Home means reshus, dominion. Yes. Ma beischa birshuscha, avvulcha birshuscha. The common denominator between both is the reshus. Oh. Woo! Yotza. What we get out of it?
You know there's a wrestler called Ric Flair who used to do this all the time.
Woo! Woo! I'm excited, so I hope I want to make other people excited about it. Yotza! It reminded me many years ago, I used to teach in Yeshiva, and I used to have a very long table here. I used to have guys in Yeshiva, all the guys, young guys. So I used to have few Talmudim that they were involved in the show business in Los Angeles, in America. So I used to bring to the Yeshiva friends. And they walked in, and what they said, oh, look, I'm bringing you to a rabbi who teach you Torah, right? What do they talk about? This guy's face is like this Johnny Walker. I don't know, that's one of those things. It's all they know in the movies. So they see this guy. The rabbi's like this famous guy in the face. What are you talking about? I'm Yitzchak Goldstein. Which means that the eyeglasses is movies. So then they see a guy, your beard looks like this guy, whatever it is. Your beard looks like this movie guy. That's all what they see. Okay? My beard looks like the Rav Shach. It looks like, that's my guy. Yeshivah. Right? Okay. And they see, guy, you look like Rabbi Shaskoi. Your face, that's my picture. I'm joking, but that's a little bit of Musa. Yotza, this comes to exclude. Woo! They're like me, right? Yotza.
Well, Ric Flair was.
Okay, so way before me. You can give him that credit. Yotza. This comes to exclude, guys. Yotza, Chemtza shel Yisrael shel Reshus Nochi, exclude the chometz of a Jew in the Reshus of a Goy, she'af al pi shu yochel levaboy. Even though you could burn it, what do you mean you could burn it? Because it's yours. Aval eino b'Reshus, it's not in your Reshus. Why is it not your Reshus? Depends. The Goy is holding it for me, he says, in my Reshus.
Depends what the cut.
I'm all mixed up. I'm called, they say in Hebrew, Yuval HaMebulbal. I'm a mixed up child. What's going on? Messed up? Again, comes to tell you, Yotzo, this comes to exclude, means the definition of house and Gvul, which means Reshus. This comes to tell you that what happens if I have a Jewish chometz, he owns the chometz, but he put it in the Reshus of a Goy, that I can burn it, but it's not my Reshus. What do you mean I put in Reshus of a Goy? What does that mean? Reshus of a Goy is my Reshus. Because he holds the pens, it depends. If he holds it for me, it's mine. If he took responsibility, he's still holding it for me. But Achrayis on Achrayis doesn't break the Reshus. And more than that, if he designated a place in his house for me, surely it's in my Reshus. So what does it mean it's not my Reshus? I'm all mixed up. What does that mean?
What didn't do about the dinner? What about when the boy but their dinner was in his house?
Right? What about the Goyish dinner? Good. Let's continue on. Yotzov, this comes to exclude another case. Chemtza shel Nochi shel Reshus Yisrael, a chometz of a Goy which is in the domain of a Jew, the chometz shel Nofla Mapoiles, and the chometz that evangelized, right? That's where Rabbi Avalanche. Rabbi, he taught me this word, Rabbi Bloom, the Bitzah. The chometz shel Nofla Mapoiles, and the chometz that avalanche fell on it, Ava Pishu Birshuson, even though it's in his dominion, can I get rid of it? But wait a second, but we have 3 cases. What about the second case? Where's the second case goes on? Chemtza of a goy that is in the Reshus of Israel. It's what? It's in his Reshus, but I cannot burn it because now he doesn't own it. So the that definition goes on both. So what's going on? Unbelievable Ramban. The Ramban that tells us what I see from here. Let's see. Lomadnu mikan. We learn from here. The Ramban spends ink and parchment to tell me what I learned from here. Lomadnu mikan. We learn from here. Where's David? Lomadnu mikan. Shedin chemtza shel Yisrael atzma. The law of a Jew's chometz himself. Kedin chometz shaloichi, like the same chometz of a goy. Shekiva v'chayish, because he said, if I have a chometz, my own chometz, I'm over. The Torah says, if I have a chometz of a goy that I took responsibility, lo yimotze, I'm always over. So I can over two chometz, my chometz, or chometz of a goy that I took responsibility. Right? That's a possible lo yimotze. The word Botechem and Vulcha teaches me that a goy and a Jew are equal. In what way? The Tarvayim. B'Reshus Yisrael oiver. In the dominion of a Jew, I'm transgressing the Bali Goy Bali Motze. B'Reshus goy, in the dominion of a goy, I'm not oiver b'Sevim. This Ramban, it's one of the biggest wonders on earth. Unbelievable. What does he say? He says, a chometz of a goy and chometz are equal. In what way are they equal? Which chometz? Chometz of a goy, I'm not oiver. Chometz of a goy has nothing to do with me, it's a goy. Chometz of a goy, I do responsibilities, I have a connection to it. So it doesn't matter if I have a connection because I own it, or I'm responsible for chometz. And surely you have chometz of another Jew that I took responsibility, kal v'chomer, I'm oiver. So chometz of my chometz that I own, or chometz of another Jew that I control, or chometz of a goy that I control, all equal at what? If it's in a Jewish home, I'm oiver, not home. Made a mistake, erase my word. If it's a Jewish reshus, if it's in the reshus of Israel, I'm oiver. Right? But if it's in the reshus of a goy, I'm not oiver. That's now. Wait! I'm spending, you're ruining it.
You're like the evil.
We are. No, but that guy, I know what he's doing to jump the gun, but I won't. I won't allow it. We learned the Rabbeinu Tam in the beginning of the Shiur for 1 hour. And I drilled in your mind, how do you define reshus by a goy? Right? Comes the Ramban and says a goy and a Jew is equal. Who's he talking about? Rabbeinu Tam, right? He bought the Kaf Pirash Rabbeinu Tam Merama. This was the Rabbeinu Tam that I learned. And we thought that Rabbeinu Tam is only by a goy. But he found in the Chilton it's only by a Jew. It's also by a Jew. Copy paste. That's the difference. The Pesachim is the same halachas. That if by a goy, what we said, the goy that put chometz by a Jew, and he took responsibility. So which means now the Jew has a connection to the chometz because he took responsibility. Is equal that if he owns the chometz. It depends. So now the Jew has a connection to the chometz all through ownership or through responsibility. Both are equal in what way? That it is in the domain of a Jew. What does the domain of a Jew means? We learned in Rabbeinu Tam. What does the domain of a Jew? Jew means. Achrayus. Well, no, not true. What happened if I achrayus and I designate a house for the goy? So is achrayus without reshus. It has to be reshus. So it has to be achrayus and reshus. It's not only achrayus. By a goy it has to be achrayus, my connection, and also reshus. Right? What happens if it's, I took a chai because I'm my reshus because I designated an area for the goy, or I put it back in the original home of the goy? It's not my reshus. If I give it to a third goy to hold it for me, it's my reshus. Or in my house, my reshus. Copy paste. A Jew and a goy is the same. A Jew reshus, obligated. Goy reshus. What reshus means? That he's not holding it for me. Because he's holding it for me, he is not going to go on Israel. That's the Pesachim. It's a clear Ramban inside, clearly like the Pesachim, not like the Shakisai. This is what he says. He says, we thought like the Madure Kama, that a goy and a Jew are separated. We found the Mechilta that are equal, but we need to change the definition. The definition of Reshus changed, like we learned in Rabbeinu Tam. That's where he's like the Beis Yosef.
Where is this Beis Yosef?
He quotes it, the Shakasari. But before we forget about Beis Yosef, you learn now this Rabbeinu Tam, this Ramban. Now the Ramban is saying, according to what we're learning now, that is exactly the same. If I own the chometz because I'm a Jew, or I control the chometz because a non-Jew that I took achayus, it's all equal. If it's a minor shoes, what does a minor shoes mean? Achayus doesn't mean minor shoes. Achayus means has to be achayus in my house. Achayus is only at night to have a connection to the chometz. I can own the chometz as my connection, or as if you're non-Jew, but I took achayus, it makes my connection. That's at night to have my connection. But when I have a connection to chometz, when I'm over, if it's a Jewish shoes, minor shoes, what does it mean mine? That I didn't meyached the place for the goy, or I didn't put it back in the house of a goy, it's a minor shoes. If I put it by a third goy, it's still minor shoes. I'm over. But if it's the shoes of a goy, I'm not a shoes of a goy. A goy is holding it for me. So it's not the shoes of a goy, the shoes of Israel. The shoes of a goy means the shoes of a goy. It means that he's not holding it for me. He's meyached a house for me. Or I'm stealing, you need agree for me to put there. But when he's, meyached a place for me, or he's showing it for me. But when he's holding it for himself, so that's the shoes of a goy. Then I'm potter. This is what the Ramban says, we don't like that. And the Rabbanon, I'm always saying, okay. This is a big Kiddush. What?
Depends if it's Dinit Matzini or a Torah law.
No, talk about Torah laws. Rabbinic laws, a Jewish chometz, whatever it is, you hire. Yes. Yes, Adi.
Okay, so what I understood is that the reshus of the Jew is if he owns the document, even if it's in the
No. Yeshivah of the Jew is not enough ownership or responsible in it. Reshus means it's under your control. Control means your house. But if I designate a place in my house for the owner, it's not my control. If I give it to a third person to hold it for me, it's still in my control. Same thing if I have a Jewish chometz in a non-Jewish home. If it's in a reshus of a goy, what does the goy mean? That I have no control, I cannot come and take it. That's the language of the Mechilta. Yotzo chemtzet Yisrael shebeshus anochi, she'al kol yochel levar, I can burn it because it's mine. Aval eno ben shus, it's not in his reshus.
I have a case where you have the shoes. I have a case where you have.
The goy is holding it for the Jew. How do you know he holds by that score? That he's holding it
Because he brought Rabbeinu Tam. Once I prove that's Rabbeinu Tam, in the language of Toysves and the Riyadh Rabbeinu Tam. So I'm saying if that's true Rabbeinu Tam, and it's an extension, he explains he thought Rabbeinu Tam was only by a goy, not by a sword, and says no, all equal. So he didn't change the definitions. So my whole piece, according to Beis Yosef, is a preconceived knowledge. And if I know in Rabbeinu Tam this Riyadh, and I read Medukduk and Toysves Chemtzet Shlochi Bebesh Shlochi means the original owner, that's a chiluk. But it would be a third guy. So still a chayav, like the Riyadh, which is the definition in Rabbeinu Tam means not achayus, reshus. Achayus is only my connection. It could be I own it because it's my chometz, or it could be another Jew's chometz in my domain that I took responsibilities, I connected to it, or goy chometz that I took responsibilities, all equal. It makes me a way to connect to it. Now that I'm connected to it, when I'm chayav, if it's in my reshus, he soils reshus, I'm chayav. If it's the goy, what does the choice reshus mean? If I'm a yachid, a place for him, it's like is reshus, not my reshus. But the reshus of a goy, what does reshus of a goy mean? It's the same thing. That it's in reshus, not mine. That I cannot. That is reshus means that he wasn't meyached this house for me. He wasn't holding for me. He's holding for himself. That's a divination because it didn't change. That's the whole piece that I'm showing today. I know, Rabbi, but listen, first I want to explain. The whole chap that I was so excited is if you look carefully the structure, what happened here. Once we drilled in what is real Rabbeinu Tam is saying, and the Havamin of the Ramban was like the Havamin of the Toysves, that is only, or that Chilukim is only by a goy, but not by a chometz of a Jew. And he said, no, I found a Mechilta that's equal. He says, whoa, it's all equal. And even in Toysves, we said, in Toysves that I put in a house of a goy, he says, why by a house of a goy I'm higher? Because I can come and take it. It's mashma, if the goy wouldn't allow me to take it, even Toysves would agree that it's not the reshus of a Jew. So I'm saying, why did Ramban should argue on that? That's a decision.
So why did Rabbi, we're not arguing with that.
We're not arguing on that.
Because he says a group for like.
Yes, yes.
Why is any yochid?
Right, but the Shagasai learned the Ramban. Yes.
What is the shagasai? I didn't get that.
You have to learn the Shagasai. Let's read it quick.
Wait.
Let's read it.
It's possible to have a case where the Israel is holding it for someone else, and it's still different reshus. Is it possible where the guy is holding it for the Jew, but it's still the reshus of the guy?
No.
So we have a Gemara that we learned 3 weeks ago, and that dollar
Schilus.
says yes.
Schilus.
Yes, the Gemara.
Not true.
1 second. The Gemara-
Wrong.
It says,
Wrong.
Reshus Lekai on the Seichel. That means it's the reshus of the Seichel.
Wrong.
And it's still the Seichel holding it.
Wrong. Not true.
What's not true?
What you say, you're defining it wrong.
The Gemara says it's in the
I know that. We spent 3 weeks to define what's Reshus. And the way he is, like the Biyun says, Shonok says that Shiur Gimel, that if the maskil has a house, and he rented to the Soiche, and the Metzia comes in, falls into the house, who the Metzia belongs to? To the renter or to the landlord?
The landlord.
Landlord, because he owns the house.
Exactly, but who's the source of it?
Wait,
The Gemara says
wait.
the Seichel is a
The Biyun Goldstein,
It's the Reshus Lekai.
Biyun Goldstein says both.
The Gemara, he can't
Equal,
argue
the Sma says,
He can't argue the Gemara.
I know, but it's only in the Rabbanon. There's many ways I read the Gemara.
The Gemara says he's a Reshus Lekai.
I know, but it could be because of the Rabbanon Aloch and Ado Aisalo. Right? It could be, but could be that when I said that usually the original guy is Chometz plus his Reshus, and the second guy is only his Reshus. There's many ways I read the Gemara. The Gemara is very open. So therefore there's no raya for this Gemara. Wait, relax. When I own a house and I rented a house for another person, I own a house, I'm a Jew, and I rent the house for a goy, and I left the chometz there.
Who's holding the chametz?
The Shulchan Aruch says depends. If I'm going to another house and I'm going to do Biyun chometz there, so if I mafkir it, I'm not oiver. Shulchan Aruch says clearly. But if I'm going to be b'shayol in a way, so then forget what they call the Shulchan Aruch, the Mogen Avram. So I said it's open. Don't just give me a piece of Gemara. This is almost like giving me between atoms and neutrons, like the space of the world. There's so much space in between. Especially that we are educating this Gemara. We just learned it for 3 weeks before.
You can't cross out the line in the Gemara.
I'm not crossing. It's not saying B'Shusa, but it's not the Reshus of the Maskil.
No one says it's the Reshus of the Maskil. Nobody. Not even the Mogen Avram.
Okay, let's accept your premise. Good. Let's accept your premise. It has nothing to do with us.
It does, because
There's nothing to do with us. You know why? Listen carefully. Because we talk about a depositor, and I say, Mafkid v'nifkad. I say in English, what v'nifkad? Depositor and a receiver of deposit. And you're talking about rental. It's nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. Okay, Rabbeinu David.
Nothing brought it out from Yichud by Sedir.
And how come the Rishonim didn't hold like Rabbeinu David, the Ramban, and all the Rishonim like Rabbeinu David? Why is Rabbeinu David? No, there's a concept. We're talking about, I own something and I deposit by you something. So if I deposit something by you, it's still in my domain, because you're holding it for me. He's talking about when I have a house and I rented it to you. That's your domain. So if the Jew has a chometz, and he gives it to the Jewish.
Is renting.
Wait, listen.
According to the Rosh,
Listen, Rabbi, mixing up boxes. Listen carefully. And I want to string out the mind of everyone. Listen carefully. Our Gemara is that a Jew owns a chometz, and the non-Jew owns the house, his house. So it doesn't matter if I own it, he rented it. Listen, or he owns it. But now when I give him my chometz, he's holding it for me. There's nothing to do with it. We talk about something else. I originally owned the house and I had chometz there, and I rented the house for him. What do you say? What's stom? Stom means I gave him the house, I gave him the dominion over my chometz, and therefore it's in the shus, and I swore. That's a whole shayla. It's a different shayla. We talk about this clear cut. I own the chometz, and I know he owns the house, or he rented the house, and I asked him, please hold it for me. It's a different shayla. They're mixing up boxes.
Yichud is talking with
Yichud means I designate a house for him.
So you're renting his house.
Not renting. I'm living in. I'm giving him uses for him.
The Rabbi says renting. The Rabban says rent.
I know, the Gemara, use the language.
This Rabban, just rent it.
Doesn't matter. But the concept is the same. I'm holding it for him. That's it. Okay. What about the shoes? Okay. Let's talk about now Musar shoes. Yes.
According to Beis Yosef,
Yes.
what are the difference how the Beis Yosef learned the Ramban and how the Shach?
Okay, so I'll tell you one foot.
And how we see the difference.
I'll tell you one foot. Wait a second carefully. Comes the Goyim, Yeshivah Goyim. The Rosh brings Yeshivah Goyim. What are you going to say? Doesn't matter if a Jew owns the chametz or Goy owns the chametz. Look at the Goyim. Let's open the Goyim. Let's start with that. It'll be easier for us to understand what's the subside. Everybody has the Rosh, right? In the papers, you gave the Rosh in hand?
Yes, the last page.
The last page, the last line in the right column. We finish with that because it's late. Yesh min ha-goyim shom. Some of the geniuses said, Israel she'ifkit chemso etzel noch. A Jew deposit his chometz by a non-Jew. Or it's an Israel chaver, or by his Jewish friend. The Geonim is exactly like the Ramban in the concept. I'll explain. Again, a Jew, doesn't matter Jew chometz or non-Jew chometz, all equal. And nefesh b'neihem. There's no difference who owns the chametz. A Jew owns the chametz or non-Jew owns the chametz, all the same. Israel, a Jew that deposits his chametz by a goy or by another Jew. The receiver took responsibility in both cases. Doesn't matter if the receiver is a goy or the receiver is a Jew. Wait a second. If the receiver is a goy, what do we need responsibility? It's not like the Maduve Kamo, like the Ramban told in the Havamina. If the receiver is a goy, it doesn't matter responsibility is out. But not really, always the mafkid is out. The goy says, no, that's the Havamina of, that's the Maduve Kamo of the Tesis Reed, that's the Chemeduma of the Ramban. Right? That's the Chemeduma. Comes the Tesis Reed says, no. Other Rabbi, if you deposit by a goy, the goy is holding it for me. So therefore, since he's holding it for me, I'm over. It's a minor shoes.
How do you understand the Gonim?
Oh, the Gonim held in concept the same, but they added one factor. They said that if the receiver, they said, if the Goy is miyachet the house for me, or the Goy is holding it for me, so it's still in the reshus of the mafkid of the Jew is over. But if the Goy is holding it for me, but he took responsibility, the achrayus is a contradiction, and that the Rosh and Rabbi argues.
Why is it a contradiction?
Because they hold that if the mekabel if the goy or the receiver took responsibility, so he has shaykhs to it.
It's more for you.
What?
It's more for you now.
It's more for you, but since he has shaykhs to it, as far as din and chometz, it makes it yours. So it's a concept as if we're not mechayev two people, or A or B. So since there's another black cat, black sheep you can throw the responsibility on, the chiyuv on, that's a svora to mafkia from the mafkid, and the Rosh and the Rabbeinu says, no, the mafkid is too chayav. So I'm saying that Ramban is like the Rosh and the Rabbeinu.
Ramban is on Yichidot Bayis, and the Rosh is on the Helmet Base.
What?
The Rosh, this Rosh of Yichidot has nothing to do with Volamana. Simon Dalit is on Helmet Base, and Achrayus.
Doesn't matter. They care. It's all the
So it's
same.
not the Sugia.
The vow is an extension of Achrayus. The vow is an extension of Achrayus. The word Achrayus references the shoes.
And the Rosh put it on Helmet Base.
So they talk, doesn't matter. They're not loch here. So one and all in concept is all the same. So again, the Geonim and the Rosh and Rabbeinu all held that if the Goy is holding it for me, so therefore the mafkid, the Jew is chayav. The Jew has a chometz and he gives it to a Goy, and the Goy holds it for him, you're about like chayav. If he didn't take responsibility. What happened if the Goy took responsibility that makes a change or not? The Goy in hell makes a change because he told me he has shaykhs to it, so that's a mafkir to me. Comes the Rosh and the Rabbeinu says, what do you mean? So what he has shaykhs, but still, is beisoy, is a reshus, so that's the language of the Rosh and Nehemi. Kevan shishilu anifkat beisoy, since the one that deposited the chomet, the depositor, that holds the chomet, is holding it for you, and it's your moment, beisoy, you can call his house, it's his house, it's his reshus.
Okay, so how does he learn the Gemara?
So therefore, the Rosh that even if the Nifka took his way, so I'm saying the Ramban is like the Rosh and Rabbi Yoina. Very clear. It's almost like, no, the Goyim made a chiluk, and if the Nifka took responsibility, the Mafkid is out. And the Rosh argues. I'm saying the Ramban is like the Rosh and Rabbi Yoina. That even if the Goy took responsibility, as long as he's holding it for me, so the Jew is in. But if the Goy was not holding it for me, he wants to beat you up. He says it's against it. He stole it. Well, they get the Jew is pottle.
How would you learn?
That's what it means. That's the Ramban.
So what's the reason he's going to lie? According to the Rosh.
So the Rosh and the Rabbi Yoina and the Ramban
And the Goyim.
and the Toysasrid are all the same. And the Goyim is on. Rabbi Chiluk of Achayus.
No,
The whole concept. The concept of Achayus puts it out.
No, but the concept of Teichen.
What?
Why can't
The concept of Teichen.
the other case, the other Kitzoni that he holds like the Goyim that it's not Rishus, even if he didn't Makabal upright.
Like the Toysasrid learned in the Madhu Kama. That's where the Shagasari learned from. The Shagasari learned that the Ramban, in the beginning, he said it's only by a Goy make Chiluki. Only by Chometz of a Goy. By Chometz of a Jew, if I give it out to a Goy, I'm potu. But he found a Mechilta Natzo. So what changed? If you hold like the Shagasari, the way he said now, like the Madhu Kama, so what changed that he found a Mechilta? Found a Mechilta, I found a change. Nothing changed. The whole chiluk of it's only by chometz of a goy, by chometz of a Jew, you give it to a goy, you're out. So the Dion should be there. The Bedume, the Madhu Kama should be there. If the Ramban says Chabedume and he found a Mechil Tanatzo, means something is off. And what he found different Rishos. Like the Rosh and Rabbi Yoina and like the Toysasrid the Maskana. That's my Kiddush today. But the Shagasari understood like you. He said, by a goy, if the Jew gave his chometz to a goy, boom, is in a goy's house, he out, doesn't matter what happened, and he has a kasha against, and he has a kasha on the Ramban. How's it possible when he can take it out? So the answer is no. This kasha is if I didn't make kind of mitzvah tashbitu. If I take it out of my domain after shas isur or mekayim tashbitu, I have to get rid of it. But really, I can do it. But that's the way he learns the Ramban. I'm saying not true. That was the Havamina. Kamedume. And he found the Mechil Natzo. It's clearly. The Sugia is right in, I'm just saying Mechoyro, I'm just, you know, I'm done with it.
You see, I hear this. The Chudone means also to be a raya, not lafkias.
No, but he said, Kamedume, we thought that all this Chilukim is only chometz of a goy. But chometz of a Jew, by a goy's house, is always out. And he found the Mechilta, no, that Jew and a Goy is all equal. I mean all equal. The definition is, the same definition of a Goy is the same definition of a Jew. That by a Goy is a Reshus, and also by Jews is a Reshus. That's Mamish, Mefurash, like the Messiah Yosef, like the Rosh, like the Rabbi Yoina, and not like the Shagas Arya. I'm simply saying now in Mondes, Hashem knows, the Aloha is the Rosh Yeshiva. My father said, used to say in English, Rosh Yeshiva. Aloha, he knew another 200 hours. 40 hours. That's his Rosh Yeshiva. I said 200. I need 200 hours.
The Maskana, how does the Rosh learn Yichud Lebayis? What's the case over here?
Like Rabbi Yehuda.
Rashi, like Rashi.
Like Rabbi Yehuda.